Lisa Gardner, this is always one of my favorite times of the year when New York Times bestselling author Lisa Gardner has a new suspense novel on the shelves. We've got her on the phone. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Mary Rose. Thank you for having me back.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and my listeners are always asking throughout the year, when is Lisa's next novel coming out? When is it coming out? Like, we're neighbors or something.
Well, they don't have to wait anymore. Fear Nothing is now available, the seventh Detective Dee Warren novel. So Fear Nothing features Detective Dee Warren, and because we know she can do anything she wants in her professional life, she's so capable. Of course, I brought her back just so I could critically injure her. She is attacked at a crime scene. She doesn't remember what happened, but she is left so wounded she cannot report for duty. So she is no longer on the job. She's actually forced to be at home, which is the thing she does worst. She reports to a pain therapist, who is a woman very interesting in her own right. Dr. Adeline Glenn is the daughter of a serial killer, also suffers from a rare genetic condition where she herself can't feel pain, which is why she has made it her life's work.
That is so interesting. So you just, Dee Dee ended up getting involved in it because she was at the crime scene and was attacked?
Yes, she was ambushed and fell down a flight of stairs. I have a chiropractor I've worked with because I myself have had to do some pain management in the past 10 years. And one of the scarier parts of my research was working with my own chiropractor to maim my character and realizing just how good he was at inflicting harm on others.
Oh, my gosh. See, I didn't know that about you, that you'd had some back pain over the years.
It was one of the things that drew me to the topic. Most of my novels have been ripped from the headlines. In the case of Fear Nothing, I found this article on a real medical condition. It's very rare. There's 200 to 300 cases in the world of children born with the complete inability to feel pain. And as someone who has a back problem, I'm like, that would be wonderful. But the truth is, the majority of the children die before age 3. We need pain. Without it, we can damage ourselves more. We succumb to infection. And this article in particular talked about the parents' worry for their daughter, which was more even also psychological. Pain is a fundamental human experience.
Right. It usually lets you know when something's wrong.
But it's also a shared experience. Like their own daughter, would she have empathy? Could she bond with others? If everyone in the world feels something and you can't feel it, how alone and outside are you? And that's really what Dr. Adeline Glenn struggles with. She's an academic. She is determined. But the truth of the matter is, the one thing she wants most in the world is to feel a sensation she never will.
That is just, I don't know how you come up with these topics every year. It just amazes me because I just, you're my favorite author anyway, but I just love you so much. And I always look forward to sitting down because I that's what, you have such a great gift, Lisa. You bring us in and you endear us with your writing. And then we want to stay because we want to know where you're going, because I honestly, at the end of a book, never, ever know where you're going. I wanted to ask you a few questions, Lisa. What is the perfect time of the day for you to write?
I'm a morning writer. It's something I think every writer has to figure out, but I'm best if I just get up and get to work and don't think about it too much.
Is there a long period of time you can go and then you need a break? Can you go for like 3 or 4 hours, or do you need to get up and walk around? Or
I generally write 3 to 4 hours. On a good day, I might write longer, and on a bad day, I might decide the hamster's just not running fast enough and the wheel in my head, and it's just time to walk away.
I love it. All right, well, I have another one. When you finish a book, do you have any things or rituals that you do to celebrate?
Yes. Generally, toward the last part of the writing process, right before deadline, I am just so under the gun that I procrastinate on, my own reading projects, the authors I like to read for pleasure, such as Tess Gerritsen, who you've met, Jane M. Krantz. So I stockpile them, and that's like my treat. When I meet my deadline, I have a binge reading.
I love that. All right, now
all my favorites.
Because Tess Gerritsen, I read her, and I think you like Karen Slaughter.
I love Karen Slaughter, yeah.
And Allison Brennan.
Yes.
Yeah, she's very good, too. Well, one final question. I don't know if you're going to answer this or not, but what does the Dee in Dee Warren stand for?
It doesn't. That's just actually her name. Dee Warren is named for my real-life neighbor, who is a beautiful blonde who is known for her flowers and her homemade cookies. So definitely not a hardened Boston cop. When I first invented Dee Dee, it was a walk-on part. She was going to be 2 chapters in a novel,
Wow.
and readers just responded to her so strongly. She's gotten a life of her own. She's been in 7 books now, and my neighbor is very patient because locally people stop her in the street to ask her about her adventures as a Boston cop.
Oh, I love that. That is awesome. Well, Lisa, it's really a pleasure, and I've got started on it, so I'm really looking forward to reading this and seeing where it goes. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day doing all these interviews and having a moment with all of us and my audience. We so appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Maryrose. It's always a pleasure to catch up.